Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. It's May 5th, 2025, episode 5687. And we are ready to go this week. We're ready to go today. Before we get started, remember your morning ritual. Take some time for self-love. It all starts right there. Make sure you take care of yourself. Listen to the CoachCast. You are here. Organize the day with the daily planner. Important. Get those 7 P's in order and making sure you're having the right perspective and setting those priorities. How do we set the priorities? By having a mission, knowing what direction we're going, what we're going to accomplish this year, and then including a vision. Who are we going to become? That's going to help you get those priorities in place. Then we just got to get better every day. It's not about comparing yourself to other people. It's about, did you get better? And that is the improved performance we work on. And then, of course, have patience, keep great posture, get those shoulders back today, stay in the moment, stay present for me today, and then persist. And great things are coming your way. We got a really big week planned. Excited about what we're doing. We've got relationships this month. Again, when we're working our plan, this is a great time to check. Let's just step back before I get into the week. In our yearly annual plan, PDCA, this is a month. What's working? What isn't? Do we need to make changes at the employee level? Do we need to, maybe change something we're doing? Is our systems working? Our systems not working? And of course, as I'm checking, I kind of have a big pivot in this time period. It's like last year when I started running. This year, it's AI. I'm pivoting to AI, so you're going to get the benefit of that. We're going to be talking about some different AI agents and ChatGPT stacking. You will find that in the AI module as I start learning that. But I do feel it's one of those things that not just from inputting stuff in, but really getting into the depth of it and understanding the data analysis, how that can work and how it can really change your life, and even from the health perspective. So excited about that. I'm checking my plan. That wasn't part of my plan this year, but obviously I had to make some changes. Also some marketing stuff I've mentioned. I'm making some changes in that area. Focusing on my mission of really bringing 800 wonderful people together over the next 15 years that I can work with. That's really my window, right? And changing those lives and building the best complete system that I possibly can and finding the right people. Might take 10,000, might take 100,000 to find those right 800, but that's what my focus is. So it's like, okay, what am I doing in order to do that? And then checking things to see if things are working and making the transition. That's what we're doing now, okay, in our annual plan. Weekly and monthly, we're going to get into relationships. And this is a really critical one. Selena Sue, one of my good friends, is launching a book called Rich Relationships. We're going to use that for our book study. But it's something that I want to bring into Morning Coach, not only here, but also in our inner circle, which is obviously a relationship-based group, and really understanding that a lot of times as we get into relationships, especially in life, sometimes it's not about more skills and more talent. Sometimes it's not about acquisition of knowledge. Sometimes it's just about better relationships. And speaking about better relationships, this is a great time to stop over at morningcoach.com and become a full member. Membership has its perks. We have a lot of things going on. We have a new AI section, a new longevity, anti-age section, Morning Coach every single day. And then, of course, the relationships with the wonderful community of people that have skin in the game that are working towards their dreams that you can connect with. You can expand your network with the Morning Coach, wonderful community that we've had for 20 years. So love to have you come over and see us at morningcoach.com. It's all about the energy, and we'd love to have you participate with us every single day. Stop over at morningcoach.com, get signed up for the full membership. You don't have to hear these ads, and you get all the wonderful perks of membership. Okay, let's get back to the show. Okay, meeting new people that bring new ideas into your life, maybe new clients, maybe new coaches, maybe a new relationship that can change everything for you. So we're going to get into that, like pretty in depth. We're going to obviously talk about rich relationships with Selena and her book tomorrow. But today we're going to start off with the joy of great relationships, and a focus on mission and team and communications and the commitment as the pillar of connection. I'm building these four legs of legs of a table, right? For us to really have a phenomenal personal evolution system and a structure. And the first is to have mission and vision. And that's, a big part of what we do, right? That's table one or leg one. And if you don't have each of these legs, the table gets really shaky and fall down. The second one is team or support. So that's another leg. And so many people I see are trying to do it alone. And in everything you do in life, it's taking a team. Even in golf, golf now with all the professionals, everybody has a team. So who is your team, right? That's the next leg. And then the next one is communication. And that's another leg that you get great at this, all the way through. And this is about relationships. So we're going to get into that. And the fourth leg of the table is a commitment to excellence or a commitment to improvement. And if we focus on those four legs and you're constantly working on your mission and vision, you're working on your support team and structure, you're working on your communication, and you're working on your commitment to excellence, your commitment to improvement, that is going to be an amazing table. Okay, so we want to have those pillars or, table legs. I like pillars. Just think of those pillars holding us up. And that has a lot to do with relationships. So I'm going to be bringing you tools to help you with that. But we're going to start today with the joy of great relationships. Tomorrow, I mentioned the book study. We're going to talk about service-driven networking, clarity, generosity, and your Dream 10. And we're going to talk about that. That's getting into Selena's book, Rich Relationships. Then Wednesday, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics in leadership, and that is why setting expectations and takeaways are critical. Okay? Energetics of intention, structure of exchange, and anchored reflection. So we're going to get into some depth there. Thursday, we got an Ask JB, and I get this a lot. How do I get rid of or get out of toxic relationships? Or we call them drainers, as Sir has taught me for years, people that are just sucking the life out of you. We're going to give you a 5-step exit with love, boundary, clarity, and energy recovery. So you want to tune in Thursday. That's going to be an actual system that I've put together. Friday, we're going to talk about the power of the CRM and why is it a system tool. I talk a lot about the CRM, and not everybody gets this one. This is one of those. It's kind of an ambiguous tool. It's like, what is it? The meaning has a couple different meanings. I always said it was a customer retention system or retention management system. But basically, it's just organizing all your data about your people and structuring and understanding them. Something that we're working on to get better. I want to know you. I want to know what you need so that we can provide the resources for you. But CRMs are prosperity tools. It's about energy management, follow-up, and scaling and understanding action. Follow-up is a critical component of a life that most people don't do. And if you have a good CRM with your communication structure, you're going to be able to work with people better. Okay? Saturday, we got Dr. Paul. Love that. He's going to come back, talk about longevity with us, and give us some health ideas. And then Sunday, we're going to talk about spending time together in the moment. Right? So we're going to talk about quality time and why this is so important as we start structuring our week. So let's get into it this week. Let's rock and roll and talk about the joy of great relationships. Okay, good morning. All right, new week, ready to go. So we're diving in. And years ago, I remember sitting down with somebody I deeply admired in the coaching world, and they told me, JB, the quality of your life will always mirror the quality of your relationships. That line stuck. It wasn't about how many friends I had, but how deep those connections were, especially the ones built on mission, vision, and mutual respect. And I think that was such a big part of my life because I started looking at, how can I build relationships with the right people? And over the years, I've had some issues with the wrong people, right? And so we've had some problems. So again, when it comes to great relationships, I mentioned the four legs of the table. So just as we're building a quality improvement system, we can also use this as a way to build great relationships with people, right? And understanding how to work with people. So I want you to go over this and really think about some of these things that we're rocking and rolling with, right? So first of all, let's talk about mission and vision alignment. So we have values that we talk a lot about, right? So we have this mission, things we're going to do. We have this vision that we want to become. And then we have values. And when values are aligned, relationships thrive. And this goes for friendships, teams, life partners, and just understanding what that is. So we've got to be able to understand and take interest in others to see what they are doing. Now, for me, in order to have a great relationship, the first thing I look at is, are they clapping when I'm winning? So I'm very fortunate that I put stuff out there on all the stuff that I'm doing, and I can see who's clapping when I'm winning and who's kind of saying, he must be bragging or he's doing something. I have to put it out there for inspirational ideas and thoughts, and because I also believe in what I teach, and I like to live the example. You know, if you're going to work with a coach or a leader or somebody that brings you a system, they should be using that system. If they're not using that system, to me, that's a big red flag, right? So I need to, it's not that my values have to be perfectly aligned with every single person that I meet, but I need that respect and that mission kind of appreciation that somebody appreciates what I'm doing. For example, drinking, not drinking. So I don't drink. I quit. I'm not even going to say I may have a drink one day. I quit. I just don't drink anymore. And if I have people that don't support me in that, and you go out, just have a shot, just drink. Come on, man. Why are you being such a weak person? You can handle it. That's not somebody I want in my life, right? So we'll talk about how we get rid of those toxic people that aren't supporting you and your vision. But the first step is to make sure that vision and that alignment's there. And then personal relationships benefit from thinking like a team. How are we supporting each other's growth? So when I want to find a great relationship, I want to find somebody that is independent and structured. That's really what I want them to focus on, is really get that, that support, where we're working with each other and building independency. Relationships are really strong when you have two independent people. Where there's weakness is when you get that codependency and people are stuck on each other. That's not a healthy thing. So we want to have a team mindset. How can we work together? How can we make things better together? Okay? And then, of course, I mentioned it earlier, communication. You'll hear me talk about this all the time, that we need to communicate. We need to communicate. It's really important that we are building a strong communication. The bridge to trust is to be clear, be kind, and be consistent with our communication. Be empathetic. I love that word, to be able to, walk in somebody's shoes, right? And understand what they've been through. It's something we've lost in the world today. People are just yelling at each other and nobody's listening. I was talking to Karen the other day, we were discussing this, and it's just like people are just yelling. They're just shouting at each other. And nobody's slowing down to be empathetic, to understand what they've went through and what's happening to them. We don't have to have all the same beliefs. In fact, I think that's a problem. We should have different beliefs. Diversity creates strength, but we got to be able to communicate. And then, of course, a commitment to improvement. Every great relationship evolves. You check in, you grow together, and you don't let things drift. And the cool thing about this table that we're building, these 4 legs or pillars, is it can be applied to a lot of things in life. So we have a mission and vision alignment. We have a team mindset, a support mindset. We have communication, and we have a commitment to improvement or a commitment to excellence, where we're going to continue to get better. And I love this. And again, what do we need to do here at Morning Coach? Shine the light of awareness on certain things. So why does this work? Why does Morning Coach work? Because every month we bring you different things to work on. Maybe your relationships are great, but guess what? You can work on them a little bit, make them greater, make them better. And so every month, every day, we're bringing you something to think about that you can work on a little bit. And it's not about huge gaps. It's just 1% improvement. I guarantee you can help one relationship get better 1% today. So your challenge, I want you to think about this, is pick one important relationship in your life. Send that person a voice message or make a quick call and tell them one thing you appreciate about them and one way you'd love to grow together. Just try it. I'm telling you how awesome it is. So you're going to tell them one thing you appreciate about them and one way you'd love to grow together. Just pick one relationship. And it's amazing, we do not do these type of things. You just don't do it. Handwritten thank you notes. I have people that have listened to me for years, and I scream about that, how awesome that is. It really makes a difference because nobody does it anymore. So you put a little handwritten thank you note in there. Have you gotten one of those? You ever gotten a handwritten thank you note? How cool is that? It's really a really nice thing to do, okay? And it makes people's lives better. Okay, the thought of the day. The best relationships are less about finding the right people and more about becoming the right person. Oh, I love that. So think about that today. The best relationships are less about finding the right people and more about becoming the right person. Boy, I believe in that. Journaling this morning. Journaling, you're going to spend a little time journaling. What relationship in my life brings me the most joy? And what can I do to nourish it even more? I love that one. So what relationship in my life brings me the most joy? And what can I do to nourish it even more? And we got Henry Winkler, the Fonz, with our quote of the day: assumptions are the termites of relationships. So going back to our communication there, we want to make sure we're communicating properly and building a great relationships. Make sure we understand the takeaways that people are getting out of the relationships and the expectations. We'll talk about that later in this week. But spend a little time and shine that light on your relationships and make them a little bit better today. I'm telling you, it'll make your life better. Okay, I love you. Go have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow right here on MorningCoach.com.